Welcome, Bitcoin fam, to the #1 Bitcoin pod. Bitcoin pumping back in the green. We did recapture 110 within a couple of thousand away from price discovery. In today's show, I'll be breaking down the latest all-time high technical analysis. Also breaking news, BlackRock's Bitcoin fund blows past 70 billion in record pace for ETFs. We'll also be discussing Bitcoin Coinbase premium hits a 4-month high as 550,000 Bitcoin leaves the exchanges. Can you say supply shock? We'll also be discussing the Bank of Japan pivot to QE may fuel a Bitcoin rally. I'll give you the analysis from Arthur Hayes just blazed, as well as Trump-backed American Bitcoin accumulates 215 BTC since their April launch. Also big news, Apple should buy Bitcoin. According to Michael Saylor, he says as their share buyback disappoints. I'll also be giving you the latest prediction. He says Bitcoin's going to soar 12,328% from today's price. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, in today's show. But anyways, if you're new to the channel, important, smash the likes, go ahead, subscribe, ring the bell, turn on all notifications. That way you get notified each and every day when I go live. I'm your host, JV, and today is June 10th, 2025. This is pod episode number 2018, and we do got a lot to share. So let's dive right in. Bitcoin's been on a tear this week. We did tap about 110.7 yesterday during the live stream, coming within $1,400, maybe even $1,300 of striking distance from price discovery. This morning, we did recapture 110, and we're currently trading at around 1096 at the time of the live stream, which you can see live and on your screen. Let me know if you feel we'll break that coveted 112 all-time high. Let me know in the comments. And pulling up Coin 360 for a little market watch here. You can see Bitcoin trading at around 1096. Ether, big gainer, up 7% on the day, just shy of 2,800. Virtually all the major cryptos in the green, minus XRP, down 0.5% on the day. And checking out coinmarketcap.com. The current crypto market cap back on a rise. I love it. 3.43 trillion. The all-time high is 3.75 trillion. We're fast approaching. Bitcoin market cap back on a climb, just shy of $2.2 trillion. We got 144 billion worth of volume past 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance 63.3%. Ether dominance took a jump today, currently at 9.7%. And checking out top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours, we got Uniswap leading the pack, up a whopping 26%. SPX up 17%, and the infamous fart coin up 14%. Is alt season amongst us? What are your thoughts? And are you bullish on any of these particular alts? Holla at your boy. And checking out the infamous crypto bubbles. Get a visual perspective on the day. Safe to say, almost everything in the green. Take a step back for the weekly. Very similar. I'd say 90 or at least 85% of the market in the green. Zooming out on the monthly, that's when you get humbled. The majority of the alts wrecked. And zooming out for the year, I dare say it's like maybe 60-40, red over green. Just checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index today. We're back in greed with a 71. Yesterday, 62. Last week, 64. And last month, a 70 in green. Checking out the infamous time chain calendar. We're currently on block number 900,642. I think within the next week, we'll be at the coveted, I guess it'll be 901,000, and before you know it, we'll be at the million milestone. Max Kaiser says expect a surprise, I guess, embedded into that block. What do you think that message is going to be? And I think it's going to be pretty lit. Personally, I can't wait. And as of today, you can exchange one fiat monopoly dollar for 913 sats. So you know what to do, broski. Pick up the sats, put down the gas, and pick up some Bitcoin caps from my man Sergio over at bitcoincaps.net. Let's now dive into our TA, aka astrology for the baddies, and we'll pull up some of the live charts. Headline reads, Bitcoin traders now see 107 retest before a new all-time high. I'm skeptical. I think we're going to see the new all-time high before the 107 retest, but we're going to entertain it nonetheless. This is the 1 hour chart, and I'll pull up the live charts here shortly. An analyst says here, despite vague affirmations from U.S. officials with terms like fruitful and good meeting dominating the post-talk rhetoric, the absence of substantial breakthroughs saw global risk assets pause, according to QCP, in which they shared in their latest report. Also, McAlvin A. Pop, another analyst, says the first period of consolidation typically lasts a few days. Then we're going to have the next breakout above the all-time high. Now, I agree with that. All-time high incoming. But he says ideal zone to buy, I would estimate around 107, 108. I dare say the ideal zone to buy is always in the present, because that's the true gift from God. All hail Satoshi, just saying. Another analyst, Mark Cullen, flag 107.7, or 107, I should say, as possible dip zone for a quick retrace and a fast buy. Other scenarios included a second retest of 100. Well, here's the thing. Shorts have been getting wrecked like it ain't no thing as we continue to bull. He also put key levels are 106 and 98 for the bullish continuation into the summer. I dare say we may never see sub 100,000 ever again, but let me know your thoughts on that. And quoting QCP here, with U.S. CPI data scheduled for release tomorrow, investors are treading cautiously. The risk is that continued diplomatic ambiguity morphs into the headwind for the broader risk sentiment. Markets see little chance of a rate cut before September, while U.S. President Trump has reportedly or repeatedly demanded the Fed action be brought forward. So we'll keep you up to date with some of that. And pulling up some of the live charts, we'll do a little live chart. Action Jackson, Satisfaction, Bo Jackson, and Tony Braxton for the baddies. Should be able to see the live charts right here any moment. Let me switch it from the Rumble chat so you guys can interact with the YouTube chat. And there we have it. Should be able to see and interact. This is live and interactive. For those that don't know, this is live chart Action Jackson. This is the 1 hour, 1, 2, 3 big green consecutive candles as we continue this bullish momentum. Zooming out from the 1 hour. Let's take a look at the 4 hour, then we'll look at the daily and the weekly, and of course the monthly. Let's see what the 4 hour shows us. 4 hours right here, pulling up live and in the flesh via TradingView via Coinbase, and no particular targets on the 4 hour, but you can see we had a nice pump up here today and yesterday. So let's zoom it out a step further, checking out the daily. And the daily says it's going up forever, Nippinator. That's right, hence the Nippinator indicator never disappoints. New all-time highs in play, I dare say. So you can see yesterday, big green candle. Again, we hit around 110.7, just shy of 111,000, taking us roughly 1,300 away from current price discovery. Next leg up, I dare say, is going to be that 124 sexy cup and handle target we'll see on the next chart when I pull up the weekly. And we have a couple of bear scenario plays, which I'm not even going to entertain because it's a bunch of malarkey at the end of the day. You know what I mean? If you want to get bearish price actions, tune in to Peter Schiff, Jim Cramer, or Garrett Soloway is all I'm saying. Nothing but bullishness with the Nippinator indicator. Rising wedgie formation sensation. We don't need no edumacation, is all I'm saying. Just stack the biddy. You can see the sexy cup and handle target. And really, what I want to outline here is check out the trend. We've had 7 green, pretty substantial green candle closes all consecutively, which is very rare. That's the most we have ever had. Then in the 8th, which was Sunday, we had the corrective candle, and it looks like we're pumping again back in the green as we continue the bullishness in the market. Let me know when you feel we'll likely hit that 124, or at least break out and achieve the current 112 all-time high, which was achieved on May 22nd. Do let me know. And zooming out a little further from there, taking a quick look at the monthly, considering it's June 10th, we still got another, 20 or 21 days to go. However, April and May were nice green candle closes, and already for the month of June, we're forming a nice green close as we continue moving up forever, Laura. Exciting times in the market, but let's continue with the pretty little bitty news regarding BlackRock surpassing $70 billion from their Bitcoin ETF, which is groundbreaking. It's the fastest any ETF has ever grown since the inception of ETFs. So this is a pretty big deal. And as you know, BlackRock is the largest asset management giant in the entire world. That's right. BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF has become the fastest ETF in history, surpassing 70 billion in assets under management. IBIT just blew through the 70 billion, is now the fastest ETF to hit that mark in 341 days. I repeat, they achieved 70 billion in assets under management with their Bitcoin ETF in less than 1 year. Let that one sink in, broskies. Eric Balchuna said the milestone was approximately 5 times faster than the record holder, which was gold. Take that, Schiffmeister, which took 1,691 trading days to reach 70 billion. So Bitcoin is growing faster than the gold ETF. You got to dig it. Respect the pump. IBIT, listed on the NASDAQ stock exchange, holds 71.9 billion in assets under management. According to their website, the firm's holdings is 661,457 Bitcoin, making it the largest institutional holder of Bitcoin ahead of the exchange Binance, which has 629,000, and Saylor has 582,000. Ironic. They all, if you round to around 600,000, they all approximately have about the same, which is 3% of the circulating supply. So Binance has 3% of the Bitcoin supply. Saylor has 3% of the Bitcoin supply. BlackRock has 3% of the supply. Add that up, that's 9% of the Bitcoin supply. And then you got Satoshi's wallet, which has like 5% of the supply. And you start to realize how scarce this asset truly is. The largest holder of Bitcoin is still believed to be Satoshi, and they say he has roughly 1.1 million, which are really, the term I use is a chess term, stalemated. They're never, ever going to move, and it makes our Bitcoin that much more scarce, limited supply, right? Now, Balchuna said May 20th, BlackRock will likely surpass Nakamoto's holdings. Holy shit. That's insane how fast they're growing, yo. IBIT shares are trading for $61.77 at this time, up 5% over the past 5 days. As Bitcoin reclaimed 110 yesterday, we got pretty close to 111, and we're on the cusp of reclaiming it here again today. Now, since IBIT launched in the U.S. January 2024, it was January 11th to be precise, it has outperformed the other 10-spot ETFs, which you would anticipate, and that launched the same day, being they're the largest in the world as far as asset management giants. I believe it's like 11, 12 trillion assets under management total. Now, most recently, the IBIT ended the 31-day inflow streak with the largest daily outflow of 430 million. And in April, IBIT was awarded the best new ETF at the annual ETF Awards. Who would have thunketh? There's actually ETF award shows. Anyways, although some Bitcoiners argue that the widespread institutional adoption undermines Bitcoin's original purpose, many of its earliest advocates disagree. For example, Blockstream CEO Adam Back shared, you have to have some empathy for the people who want to buy Bitcoin, but they don't know how to do it, and it's just too complicated. You can't fix our retarded, right? There are limits to the tolerance, though. You also don't really want 90% of the ETFs or something, because that might start to become a problem. Precisely. Now, you already know, I mean, everyone has a different opinion, and opinions are like assholes. We all have them. So I dare say stack Bitcoin, but under certain circumstances, it may be more advantageous for certain people under certain predicaments to use a wrapper such as MicroStrategy, BlackRock, or an ETF. Personally, I'm old school. I don't trust nobody. If you guys haven't figured that shit out, that's why my best friend's a dog. I mean, the most trustworthy companion a man can have. But I trust nobody and nothing and no wrapper. So I only trust Bitcoin. And just to keep it 100, I trust God. I trust Jesus. I trust Nipsey, my dog. I trust my mom. Really, there's nothing else on that list. So for me, there is no second best. But maybe I am based, and it is what it is. All right, next story of the day, Famalam. Let's continue where we left off. Still got a lot to share. Did we discuss that? The 5 billion Bitcoin buy? Let me just see where we left off. We did the BlackRock, correct? Yeah, we did BlackRock. So next is the Coinbase Premium with the 550,000 Bitcoin. And I may have not updated this. I actually did update it, but my software was glitching and it kept resetting my shit. So don't pay attention to the sidebar, which just threw myself off here. I did update it, but it didn't fix itself, but nonetheless. Bitcoin Coinbase premium hits 4-month high as 550,000 of the biddy leaves the exchanges. Could this be the ultimate supply shock we've been waiting on? Let's discuss it. U.S. Bitcoin demand is staging a convincing comeback as the Coinbase premium tags multi-month highs. I repeat, multi-month highs. The premium, which reflects the difference in price between the Coinbase biddy and the Binance pairs, is often used as a proxy for the U.S. buyer appetite. And on Friday, it reached 109.5, marking the largest gap between the two markets since February 3rd. In one of the quick tail market updates, crypto quant contributor Crypto Dan with a plan describes supportive behavior from the Coinbase users. Quoting him here, this positive movement without signs of overheating is typical pattern seen in a rising cycle following a correction, suggesting optimistic movements in the crypto market in the second half of 2025. The premium trend comes as U.S. institutional demand also returns after a monetary unwinding due to Bitcoin retesting that 100,000 support. Crypto quant flagged declining exchange reserves as an ongoing catalyst for the Bitcoin price strength. I mean, basic math, very limited supply and massive demand equals we're going up forever, Laura. Be prepared. Every rally is in the result of unseen preparation as Bitcoin marches to 110, which we recaptured earlier today, as well as yesterday. The answer is simple. They're pulling the Bitcoin off the exchanges slowly but surely with steady determination. I mean, charts don't lie. Look at it right here. Bitcoin exchange reserve on the spot exchanges. This is the lowest number we have seen in like the last 7 or 8 years. Can you say supply shocky shock? People aren't selling. They're hodling. They're not day trading. They're holding for the long term. That's precisely what they're doing right now. And if you don't know, maybe now you know. The next headline, Bank of Japan pivot to QE may fuel a Bitcoin rally, according to Arthur Hayes. Just blazed. That's right. The Bank of Japan upcoming monetary policy meeting in June may provide next significant catalyst for the global risk assets like stocks and crypto. The Bank of Japan is set to take the next interest rate decision at its upcoming monetary policy meeting June 16th to the 17th. The central bank may provide the next significant catalyst for the BTC and other risk assets if it pivots to QE, according to Arthur Hayes. Just blazed, billionaire entrepreneur himself. Yahtzee mofos. If the BOJ delays the QT and restarts the selected QE at the June meeting, risk assets are going to fly. Let it rip, tater chip. QE refers to the central banks buying the bonds and pumping the money into the economy to lower the interest rates and encourage the spending during the difficulty financial conditions. As Arthur Hayes outlines here, I don't think the ordinary Japanese plebs would agree. If the Bank of Japan delays the QT and restarts the selected QE at its June meeting, the risk assets are going to fly. Oh, let them fly already. June 31st, 2024, the Bank of Japan introduced a plan to cut the government bond purchases by 400 billion yen per quarter, starting in August of 2024, with the quantitative tightening plan set for the interim assessment period at the upcoming meeting June 16th, signaling a potential opportunity to pivot, which is this coming Monday. BOJ officials are reportedly discussing making smaller reductions to the bank bonds buying from the current 400 billion to 200 billion yen per quarter, starting from the April 2027, according to unnamed sources familiar with the matter. Hence, they told Bloomberg. I don't know. Bitcoin rose to 112 all-time high May 22nd, and we're on the cusp of recapturing that all-time high live and in the flesh. We just recaptured 110 yesterday and recaptured it again today. So new all-time highs in play. Let me know where you feel will likely be trending as far as the price action is concerned. Our next story here, we're not here yet. We're here. Trump-backed American Bitcoin accumulates 215 Bitcoin since their April launch. That's right. American Bitcoin is a Bitcoin mining firm backed by Trump's 2 eldest sons, Eric Trump and Don Jr., so everyone except time traveler Barron. He has quietly built up a 215 Bitcoin reserve since the April 1st debut. The company, formerly known as ABTC, is positioning itself not just as another mining venture, but as a long-term accumulator of the BTC, as it disclosed in the June 6th filing with the U.S. SEC. The stash, currently worth $23 million, was not previously disclosed. ABTC considers its reserve a core strategic asset managed adaptively to support the balance sheet strength with a view of enhancing the long-term stockholder value, according to the firm. The firm added the accumulation strategy is open-ended, meaning no fixed Bitcoin target exists. Instead, it continually assesses market conditions to raise capital when favorable and expand its holdings, ultimately saying they're going to be buying the top forever, Laura. Bitcoin accumulation is not a side effect of the ABTC's business. It is the business. It's my bitty business. It's my bitty business. BTC's Layer 2 strategy is designed to transform the Bitcoin production into the long-term Bitcoin ownership. And I know their goal is to become the largest Bitcoin miner. I believe currently it's Marathon, which is the largest. In the filing, BTC said it invests directly into mining rather than investing in physical infrastructure. The firm owns over 60,000 of the miners. And I ain't talking about Peter Schiff trying to strike a miner, primarily from Bitmain and MicroBT, deployed across the three Hut 8 managed Hut 1, Hut 2, Hut 3, Hut facilities in New York, Alberta, and Texas. These miners operate, I ain't talking about the A miner miners, operate as a combined hash rate of 10.17 exahashes per second and an average efficiency of 21.2 joules per terahash. The partnership with Hut 8 allows the ABTC to keep the overhead low while scaling the output and preserving the capital flexibility. Respect my authority. ABTC's miners contribute to computing power established in pools like Foundry and Luxor. Daily mining rewards are distributed based on hash rate, yes please, contributions with pool fees kept below 1%. And at the core, ABTC runs on what's called the three-tiered strategy, the holy trinity of the mining. This includes building a cost-efficient mining operation, leveraging capital to grow the bitty reserves, and playing an active role in the Bitcoin broader ecosystem. ABTC stores the Bitcoin in a custody of Coinbase cold wallets, applying multi-factor authentication whitelisted withdrawal protocols to improve the security. That's according to the firm. And on May 12th, American Bitcoin announced plans to go public through a merger with Gryphon Digital Mining. The deal will be structured as a stock-for-stock transaction, with the merged entity operating under the American Bitcoin brand. Meanwhile, Eric Trumpster himself will sit on the company's board following the merger. Furthermore, American Bitcoin is majority owned by Hut 8. Which will retain the management role post-merger. Under the agreement, the current American Bitcoin shareholders will hold approximately 98% of the new company. Hut 8 will continue managing mining infrastructure and operations with expectations of generating stable revenue through the long-term commercial agreements. And you already know from Trump's speech he gave in Nashville last year, he wanted to make America the Bitcoin mining hub of the world. And this is his company he has a partnership with. Will it soon be the largest miner in the world? I mean, if they have the intent of following through on their word, it very well could be. But you guys let me know your thoughts. I'll read your comments out loud. Apple should buy Bitcoin, according to Michael Saylor's tweet, as their share buyback disappoints. And Saylor also predicts Bitcoin soaring 12,328% to 13 million per coin. He was also on the news on TV today, projecting Bitcoin hitting $1 million per coin a lot sooner than many of you are anticipating. So let's break all this down and shout out to the Giga Chad. There is no second best. So let's break this baby down. Apple, the world's fourth largest company by market cap, should buy Bitcoin to address the poor performance of its stock buyback program, according to the executive chairman of strategy, Mikey Saylor. In fact, he actually responded to Jim Cramer on X and said Apple should buy Bitcoin. Saylor's comment responded to Cramer's criticism of the Apple buyback program. As outlined right here, Cramer wrote, "The Apple buyback is not working right now. The company can leave it in to earn a lot or can take some to integrate. It is not a badge of dishonor. It just isn't." And then Saylor responded, "Shut the fuck up, Jim Cramer. Apple should buy Bitcoin." Precisely. Apple's buyback program aims to reduce the number of outstanding shares and return the value to the investors, according to the $110 billion stock buyback program, which was announced May of last year with the filing with the U.S. SEC. And here you're looking at one of their charts. Apple stock has declined more than 17% since the start of the year. I mean, Bitcoin would definitely be a game changer for them. And I know like Steve Wozniak is extremely bullish on Bitcoin. If you've never listened to his interviews, we have covered them multiple times throughout the years. Over the same period, Bitcoin has gained more than 17%. According to data from TradingView, zooming out, Bitcoin surged over 1,000%, which is virtually a 10x in the past 5 years compared to the 137% increase in Apple shares. So it's outperforming Apple by a factor of roughly, 9x or more. Now, the call for Apple to adopt Bitcoin comes as more companies move to add the crypto to the balance sheet. On May 28th, U.S. video game consumer electronics retailer GameStop announced its first Bitcoin investment, acquiring 4,710 Bitcoin for $513 million. And I believe that announcement came from the big conference in Vegas when the firm launched a $1.3 billion convertible notes offering. Here's the official announcement announced from GameStop themselves on X. We also have the Japanese investment company MetaPlanet spearheading Bitcoin adoption. They just made a massive announcement to raise $5.4 billion worth of capital to buy more Bitcoin. We covered that in great detail yesterday. If they follow through with their very bullish plan, they can become one of the largest holders of Bitcoin, obviously, following MicroStrategy. Now, over in Europe, Paris-based crypto firm, the Blockchain Group, announced plans to raise $340 million for their Bitcoin treasury, and the announcement came a week after the firm acquired $68 million worth of Bitcoin, pushing the total holdings to 1,471 Bitcoin, or over 154 million. Meanwhile, as we discussed, the spot Bitcoin ETFs have been accumulating like a mofo. BlackRock now has well over 600,000 Bitcoin, leading the race for the institutions. I also want to touch upon this. Michael Saylor predicts Bitcoin soaring 12,328% to 13 million per coin over the course of the next 20 years. And I actually transcribed one of his recent interviews with Natalie Brunell from Coin Stories, and I feel it's relative here. So here's quoting the GigaChat, and I transcribed it myself, so I know it's 100% accurate. I think the best way to get 100x returns as an individual, which was the question he was asked by Natalie, would be keep your day job, so to maximize the cash flow you generate by whatever your profession is. So don't quit your day job. You're responsible on your expenditures. You have to think in the year 2045, 20 years out. I think a Bitcoin's worth 13 million. And I dare say that's conservative. So every Bitcoin you don't buy is really a $13 million cost. Exactly. So that Rari you're going to buy is going to cost you 6 Bitcoin. And so it's going to be a $100 million Rari if you look out 20 years. So you have to keep your job unless you're already insanely rich. Don't splurge on the Rari. Buy the 6 Bitcoin instead. And with regard to the leverage, the intelligent leverage for the individual is generally long dated. For example, mid-dated mortgage debt. So if I have any kind of property like a house, I would put a long mortgage on it, 10, 15, 20-year mortgage, especially a conforming loan, and then roll it over into Bitcoin, because mortgage debt is not marked to market. It's against an asset which is fairly stable. Normally, the interest rates are subsidized by a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac program or government program. So it is the cheapest form of permanent capital that someone could get. So I give you what you should not do. You should not quit your job. You should not splurge on sports cars you can't afford, such as buying those Raris or Lambos. And don't buy a yacht because it's insanely expensive. And don't pay off your mortgage. Don't get debt free. There's some advice from the GigaChat. I mean, obviously, I don't really have to add anything to that, but I do want to dive a little deeper into this particular prediction he made on CNBC Squawk Box. Saylor has once again doubled down on his bullish Bitcoin outlook. Speaking on Squawk Box, he predicted Bitcoin reaching a jaw-dropping 13 million per coin within 20 years, which is a surge of 12,328% from the current price. Saylor first made this prediction back at the 2024 Bitcoin conference last year in Nashville, the same conference Trump was at, projecting a 29% annual return. He's even more optimistic now, raising that to a 40% annual growth rate, which can push Bitcoin to 13 million per coin a lot sooner. But you guys, let me know your thoughts surrounding that. And the $1 million question, will Apple eventually adopt Bitcoin and put it on the balance sheet? Well, any of the other top companies, I think it's Nvidia, multi-trillion-dollar market cap. We have Apple, we have Microsoft, and we have Alphabet. Those are, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the largest companies by market cap. When will they start adopting Bitcoin? We have Amazon up there as well. I think that's going to be the real game changer. I think when retail especially also adopts it, for example, a Walmart, which is one of the largest retailers in the world, or Amazon, which I would dare say is the largest online retailer, and start incentivizing people to use their Bitcoin, they're going to save billions of dollars in merchant fees from the legacy payment rails like MasterCard or Visa, Amex or whatever. And it's also going to be advantageous for you guys because maybe they give you a 10% discount to incentivize the Bitcoiner to actually spend their Bitcoin. You got to incentivize us. Otherwise, we're just hodling for life. Take that, motherfuckers. Just saying. But anyways, there you have it, yo. And we're going to continue with the uncensored version of the pod, exclusive on X and Rumble. So if you're watching on the YouTube, you ain't got to go home. But the stream is going to end. I encourage you to join us. I'm going to stick around for a bonus hour, live with the Nipinator indicator, live and in the flesh, and we'll go from there. So deuces to the YouTube. Head on over to the Rumble. The direct link is rumble.cryptonewsalerts.net, or join us on X, and let's continue with the live stream.